Okay, so it's easy to become a little bit, for Lake Ontario Committee on the bloater thing, to just become kind of complacent that how far we've gone. But every time I watch these presentations, I'm reminded of where we were 10 years ago, which was nowhere. And we've really made incredible strides in reintroducing bloater, and that's largely due to Region 3 Fish and Wildlife Service out of Green Bay office first getting eggs for us, and then the work of OMNRF White Lake Fish Culture Station, and a grant from the Great Lakes Fish and Wildlife Restoration Act, which funded a great deal of the culture research there. It's been highly successful. And also the work at Tunison Lab of Aquatic Sciences before when George Catola was there. It's those of you who knew George, he's fish nutritionist and physiologist, and was great with getting early work done on how to get these larvae to eat early on. So pretty amazing where we've gone. And even though we're experiencing some challenges now with the quality of eggs that are coming from that broodstock, I'm very confident that Trevor Pritchard and folks on Kevin Loftus' staff will crack that nut and get that done. So I've got to say I've had a steady diet of crow with humble pie for dessert over this whole thing with bloater, because I was never believed it was possible to have bloater broodstock. I was proven wrong on that. I also said that bloaters would never survive surgery to implant transmitters. And then to bat 1,000, I said you could never get a bloater to survive going through an autofish trailer. So we've done some early experimentation on that with some degree of success. So I'm grateful to have been wrong on those, and also very grateful for U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service Region 5 now investing a great deal of time and their facilities at Lamar and Allegheny to come into this, join us in this program and expand it. So great stuff there, and appreciate the collaborations. I just want to make a distinction between our efforts to reestablish bloater in Lake Ontario and the experimental stockings of Artidae that you heard about today. The Artidae stocking is not part of the Lake Ontario Committee, and it is strictly experimental, and it's confined to those two embayments that Dr. McKenna mentioned. And when those experiments are over, we're not likely to do much more, and a lot of that is due to the efforts of Dr. Weidel and those that he's partnered with to look extensively for larval coregonines throughout the lake. And it's amazing what you don't find when you don't look for it, and conversely, what you do find when you look for it. So we're very content with where Artidae is in the lake, and pretty content to pretty much let them do what they're going to do in the lake. So, and one of the challenges that we're looking for help on from both USGS and the Fish and Wildlife Service is to try to expand beyond hoyi and move into kayai. So that's something that we'd like to see some work on to try to potentially get kayai started and eventually develop broodstock for kayai as well. And I'm just going to go through some highlights from some other things you heard this afternoon. Certainly the Lake Committee is concerned with what we heard about the fate of phosphorus. Prior to Lars' talk, we were under the impression that phosphorus was pretty much stable, so we have other things to keep us awake at night now. And Lake Ontario's been a little bit slow in getting into the GLaDOS mode, but we're certainly moving quickly there now and reaping the benefits of the work of a number of different agencies and academics. Just want to acknowledge Aaron's work and Bruce Tufts helping us there, and the work that Fish and Wildlife Service and MNRF have started there. And DEC New York is now making some commitments funding-wise to advance and expand the distribution of receiver arrays throughout the lake. So since this is supposed to be Andy Todd's talk, I'd be remiss if I didn't thank the technical committee for making this go tickety-boo, because that's what Andy would say, right? And but you can't say enough for the science, that we heard today. Outstanding collaborations on Lake Ontario, very impressive, and just want to thank the presenters and the LOTC for what they've done, and the Secretariat staff again for making this all possible. And that's all I have to say. Dr. Detmers, can I assume the social will be at 5:30 out here?
Social will be at 5:30 out here, yes.
Okay, and with that, I'll take any questions you might have. Wonderful.